Bryce and all, welcome back everyone to the award-winning Fearless in Devotion podcast in some ironic universe. Welcome back everyone after another one-all draw, which seems to be the way things are going at the moment. Tim uh, held to a draw by Birmingham at the racecourse. First of all, before we talk about the game, how was the atmosphere? Because that's been a point of contention recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, I just caught slightly the agenda, and Andy's dubbed me the atmosphere police, which is slightly worrying because that's a bit of a dangerous hill to die on, to be perfectly honest. Um, it was all right. It was okay. As a collective, I mean, obviously the Derby game was good, and this one wasn't as good. But I think it's been a bit of a busy period, and Friday night matches 8 o'clock. Birmingham fans probably didn't help to it because they just seem a little bit fried at the moment with their general performances. So they were nowhere near as chopsy, both in person and online in the sort of days leading up to that game and the game itself. So it was an all right atmosphere. It probably wasn't as good as Derby. It definitely wasn't as good as Derby, but it's still improving for sure in terms from a consistency point of view. I still love to know what the spark of it is or what it was for. Um, but you know, look, it's there now, so let's keep on at it. I love the fact that Parky's kind of doing a couple of rallying cries, which is sometimes needed, and it's front and center in some of the gifs and graphics that the club are using. So I think that's probably helped as well. Hear him sort of doing a bit of a rallying cry, which sometimes you just have to do, and the crowd have definitely responded to that.
Well, forget Parky's rallying cries, because this week Andy Gilpin is doing a rallying cry for the Wrexham is the game newsletter, which is very much a going concern and is improving every week, much like the atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. It is. I think now I'm finding some form
Good.
with it. Yeah. But yeah, please subscribe if you will. There is a special offer coming up where you will get 63% off. I'm not even sure if that's better than.
Very specific number.
Yeah, but look out for that. That is coming very soon, or we'll push that. But it's a good newsletter. Please stick with it and please subscribe.
You stopped sharing your screen just as I was zooming in on some of those JPEGs you have on your desktop.
Okay.
Other people are definitely going to be doing that.
Well, there's
100%.
one. Let's have a look. We've got Kevin Russell, Francis Benali, who I got
Naked,
as a cameo for a lad who was leaving, Sam Ricketts,
naked,
and Matt Letitia. That meme
not naked.
really makes you think, which I tend to use quite a lot. So I have it saved on my desktop to just pop into conversations left, right, and centre.
Good. So do sign up to the newsletter, 63% off. You don't get better than that anywhere. Back to the football. Liam, were Birmingham there for the taking? Is that 2 points dropped or points gained?
I think it was 2 points dropped. I said it when I left, and I stick by it. I just think the way we played in the first half, we had a couple of chances. I think Lewis O'Brien's again was probably the most glaring miss when he was through one. Well, not a miss, it was saved, but he was through one on one again, didn't convert. Probably the third time that's happened now, if you count
Southampton.
Southampton.
Southampton was tough. Southampton
Yeah.
was really tough.
What was the other one? There was one more as well.
I think he got through against. Oh, he actually got through against Leicester on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I said that because a few people were like, bloody hell, Birmingham looked like a different side here to the one we played last season. And I thought we were going to win it. But I said to someone at halftime, I can't remember who, but I basically said, well, yeah, but we've only got one goal to show for it. And that's always the danger. It's weird. It's turned from sort of win your home games and draw your aways to the other way round, it feels more like now. So yeah, it's not one of those, where I'm going to start booing or getting narky about it, but I did leave a bit disappointed just because I think they did not look like the Birmingham all dominating of last season. They looked like a team that were there for us to get our first 3 points, and unfortunately we didn't.
Andy, do you share that view? 2 points dropped?
I think as soon as O'Brien didn't score, I thought we might have been in trouble. I did know that they would come more at us in the second period. It took them about, what was it, 40 seconds, 45 seconds to equalise. And it's a bit of they've switched off a little bit at the back, and you can't afford to do that, unfortunately, at championship level. Why is it rocking? Is there a mini earthquake in Swansea?
No, sorry. I'm just I'm balancing my laptop precariously on
Are you
something.
eating again?
I have got an open bag of crisps, but I'm not eating right.
The YouTubers will not be happy.
Oh God, YouTube, if you want to, please have a go at
Not
have a
yet.
go at Rhys.
Not yet.
So I did sort of feel that as Liam said, we needed to have more than one goal to show for our first half dominance. But it's good that we can dominate a team like that. But I just think that Birmingham was so lacking in confidence that you really need to put your foot on their throat at that point. And we just don't seem to have that killer instinct yet. But, we are still a team knitting together. We are still sort of finding out the best ways to utilize Kabore and the other sort of talents we've got in the team. And also Bobby Madley was referee, and I don't really want to bring up his dalliance with dogs, but really and truly,
There's we're not winning this again this year. Not a chance.
we're not anyway. Now, what are we? The fourth best podcast?
Fifth,
Claims which Madley has denied. One of us has.
But how many of those podcasts did the Terry Fox run today? Us and the Racecourse Ramble. So here's to that.
Okay, so that's the third best and the fourth best doing it.
Fell ourselves short. I told you last year we'd have a chance.
You
First.
did. You did. Right, back to the game. Did we look tired after it was 3 games in 6 days? Kiefer looked like he was a bit leggy, maybe, even though he gave us all.
I wonder if it took him 3 hours to get out of Leicester. Probably
Yeah.
didn't get a good night's sleep on Tuesday. Tim, do you think he looked leggy?
Well, he is leggy and he's massive. But in terms of, I don't know. I noticed this probably against Derby that unless you're within kind of like maybe 8 yards of him as a supporting player, he gets isolated very quickly because he's such a focal point. And whilst he's very good in the air, he does have a sort of propensity for the ball to get tangled under his feet, and he loses possession probably a little bit too easily than maybe what he should for a player of his experience. But it'll come. We can't suddenly start looking at a player who started the season so well and has dropped off a little bit. He set the bar really high early on, so there's going to be a dip in form, understandably. So yeah, I think I wouldn't say he was leggy. I think we've got to remember that he's been battered. You alluded to this in midweek, Andy, that he's been battered from pillar to post in terms of injuries. For all we know, he might be playing through them. He might be having painkiller injections or something because he's taken a right batter in recent games. So maybe that has maybe had an effect as well. But whichever way you look at it, we are knocking together a half decent unbeaten run, and all of a sudden that unbeaten run looks great if you grab a win at Stoke and Oxford. All of a sudden, I just like the fact that we are becoming that team that's very hard to beat again, which wasn't there early part of the season, and now it's back, and I'm definitely seeing similarities between what we've got now to previous teams gone by.
Is that because there is a slight formation change that he is sort of playing? It was very noticeable for me on Friday how far up O'Brien was, as almost like an attacking mid with Windass, and then you've got the 2 deep lying in Sheaf and Dobson, who was just everywhere. It is a slight tweak, isn't it, Tim? And O'Brien is sort of reveling in that role. If he could have just bloody finished his dinner.
Yeah, no, I think it is. He's had to. I mean, there are slight tweaks going ahead, but I'm the sort of person that sits and go, I've noticed this, I've noticed that, but there's definitely tweaks there. But yeah, it's a weird game. It was a weird game because, like Liam said, they were definitely there for the taking. That's the only disappointment, that we didn't really just see it through, and there were other little chances. Windass played, which we were all surprised about, given his sort of injury to his ankle and his foot in week that he posted to Instagram. Didn't really look at it, to be honest. Again, probably a reason for that. So, but yeah, I love the fact that we've definitely bridged the gap between us and Birmingham from last year. 100%, you could see that. And yeah, it was good, apart from the second half, which I can't remember a thing about because it was so boring. It was so nondescript.
It was poor, very poor.
It was, but it's weird, isn't it? Because we were usually a second half team so far, and then we transformed that to a first half team, didn't make it count, and then just dropped off. But there's more pros than cons
Yeah,
again.
and I think you look as well, 1 defeat in 6, as you say now. That doesn't include cup games. Sorry, so we're becoming hard to beat, aren't we? And that's the first job you need to do when you especially when you're establishing yourself in the
That's
league.
not an easy run either. People look at it and go, 3 points out of 9 is pretty poor, but Leicester just went to a sort of very, very half decent looking Swansea team and beat them 3-1. We go to Leicester, we probably could have won it. We could have won it. So funny old league, man. Funny old league.
Speaking of which, you mentioned Swansea. I was having a pre-season darts match before the Mumbles Darts League starts up again next week, and we were down the Newton Inn, down in Mumbles, and I would say, and the game was on, so I watched the game there while chucking a few arrows, and I would say it was 50-50 in terms of people back in Wrexham and people back in Birmingham, which was interesting. There wasn't a huge crowd, but it was a bit split.
Are you the most famous person in the Mumbles after Catherine Zeta-Jones?
No, probably you've got Dean Saunders above that. You've also got who else lives down there is the mum from Gavin and Stacey, Gwen.
Oh, right.
She lives down Mumbles. Kev Johns walks down there. He's like royalty.
So happy that you entertained my question in such a serious manner.
I take every question very seriously.
So you'd say that, yeah, you were about the 5th.
I think you'd probably have to keep going a little bit more, unfortunately. Catherine Zeta-Jones' mum, Catherine Zeta-Jones' dad, Catherine Zeta-Jones' dog.
Is Michael Douglas a naturalised Mumbletarian? What do they call people
he
in the
plays on
Mumbles?
Angland golf course when they're down. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so he loves it down there, apparently. The best thing I covered when Catherine Zeta-Jones got the freedom of Swansea, and Michael Douglas was there in the council chamber taking photos of the ceiling and taking photos, which I thought was very sweet. So somewhere on Michael Douglas's iPhone is a photo of Swansea council chamber's ceiling, because he liked it. There we go. Anyway, moving on. Was it a surprise that Lewis Brunt was dropped for Doyle, Liam?
Yeah, definitely, because I thought since he's come in, he's sort of changed things a bit for us. He's brought the ball a bit further forward when he's been on. I thought he was good on Tuesday night, and that was one of the first things when the lineup came out. I was like, oh, I'm quite surprised by that. Not because Doyle's bad or anything. We all know he's very good and got a decent pedigree, but I always think it's one of those where you keep your place in the team unless you don't perform well. So I don't know if there was some sort of tactical element to it or something that Parky had identified, or it might just be down to fitness and personnel. But yeah, I was quite surprised by that, because I just think when things are working, you try not to make too many tweaks. But at the same time, I think someone said Birmingham made about 5 changes to their team, and I did feel that, like, as time went on in the second half, they looked like the fitter of the two sides, and more likely to score.
Andy, do you think Parky, the last few years in particular, has very much played 11 men for 70 to 75 minutes regularly, and often the same 11? Do you think we're starting to see that that's not going to happen this year because of the intensity of the championship?
Yeah, I think so.
Even if you don't have any injuries.
Yeah, definitely, I think so, because he's built a squad there, and if you look on that bench, you can bring players on who are as good, just as good as the people they're bringing off. So we've not had that before. We very much had a very set 11, and everything else is squad. But I think it's a very, very well balanced team where you can take Brunt out and play a player like Doyle, who probably on his day and potential wise is better than Brunt. Obviously, cost a lot more money, a lot more highly rated. So, but to be able to swap around like that, there was options, so many options from the bench that he could have done. I mean, James coming on changed the game against Leicester, so he came on. But Parky does have a very tried and tested formula where he likes to change things 65, 70 minutes in. And he is continuing to do that. I do sort of wonder if we are lacking another striking option, though. Maybe if Moore is not effective, but we're still going for the target man, is Smith the right backup for that, or is he a little bit of a different player? For me, Smith can do a little bit of everything. He can run in behind, he can hold the ball up. He goes down a little bit too easily for me, but I think that's just part of his game. So I just sort of, we've often said, is there a backup to Moore? And I don't think there is. there is someone completely on the same sort of wavelength as him.
Who else impressed for you then, Andy? Your dogs of war, Dob, Lob, and Sheaf?
Dob, Lob, and Sheaf. Yeah.
Tough but diddle and grub. Jesus.
Yeah. Sounds. Dobson was great again. I did wonder if he could make the step up. I thought he was a very much. Last time he was in the Championship with Sunderland, he had a bit of a torrid time. Actually, I don't think he actually made the Championship with Sunderland. They might have been in League One. So it's new ground for him. But what he's doing is he's sort of thinking, right, simplify my game. What am I good at? I'm good at chasing the ball around, grabbing it, high energy, high pressing, and that's what he's doing. And as Wrexham fans, we really appreciate all that hard work. And when he gets the ball, you know what? He's not too bad with it. He's not sort of just booting it anywhere. He is thinking about his pass. It's the best passing midfield we've had probably since I can remember supporting Wrexham. But we've gone out and we've bought a lot of quality. So of course you would think you would think that the quality would be there. But yeah, Dobson, fair play. I thought he'd be way down the pecking order, and he's absolutely proved me wrong.
What sort of dog would he be, Andy? If you had to pick a breed,
I would say a golden retriever.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, just sort of running out, giving him a ball. Whoa, what was that? Yeah, whoa. He's not cultured, but he absolutely will chase that ball all up and down that beach for you, and he will never complain. And in the end, he'll curl in his basket and have a nice sleep.
We haven't done an 11 for ages. Maybe we need to do fearless players as dogs 11. Maybe we need a bit of helping out on that front. So please make your submissions known in the comments
would that
below.
Work? What?
I don't know. Arthur's quite good at coming for crosses. You want an aerial dog that can come up and grab like a disc. When you throw it in the air for him, like a
German Shepherd.
I don't know. No, like a sheepdog. The sheepdog's quite good at that, aren't they?
Okay.
Yeah.
So Arthur would be a sheepdog.
Dogs are not my area of expertise. I'm a cat man.
So I keep them all would be a sausage dog, quite long and slinky. I go for that.
Do they all poo everywhere and not get their poo picked up like around me, right?
You should go and bench press and wash your mouth out.
I post it on my community Facebook every day.
Anyway, Liam's got a great idea there. I reckon we should all run with it. And if you don't, I will.
All right, cool. Any other business on the game? Kabore was class again, wasn't he? Showed his promise. Obviously, I love that he's got that. He wants to beat people. You can see that as soon as he gets the ball, he's thinking, "How can I get past him?" And obviously, it doesn't come off sometimes, but more often than not, it does because he's rapid and his delivery's class. Liam, I mean, he was running up and down by you in that first half, wasn't he? First half or second half? Yeah, first half.
Yeah. There was 1 minute which made me get off my seat that actually wasn't him bombing forward. There was a moment where he'd been bombing forward, one of their players got it, started going the other end, and then he just appears out of nowhere and reclaimed the ball. And that's what I think is so hard. That's the expectation of a wing back these days, is that you do have to be able to get up and down. It's not just about one or the other. And I think he's probably better at that. Well, certainly better at that than Longman, who I think more and more just looks like a right-footed player who's been stuck out on the left. And I think it's not really Parky's fault, because I think he thought that Cae was going to be that man, but clearly he's been injured so far. But if you had two players like Kabore, you'd be laughing, one on each wing. The crowd really took to him as well. I did think Birmingham nullified him a bit in the second half. I think they probably picked out that he was our danger man and maybe doubled up on him. But yeah, he's a real crowd pleaser. They were chanting his name, during that first half. So yeah, he's really got the makings of a cult hero, I think.
Is anyone singing "That's Kabore" yet, or is it not caught on?
What's the chant
on the bus?
What is this? What is the Kabore chant?
Well, what I sang before.
Issa Kaboré.
That's the
it's the Seven Nation Army one, isn't it?
Yeah. If Man City gave an option to buy him,
yes.
How much do you think he would cost, and do you reckon Wrexham would exercise that deal? Because it's clear that he's a massive, massive part of what we're trying to do this season. So I'm just wondering what the general feel is in terms of what he would cost. 100%
I mean,
be
if
a
Man
club
City
record.
have kept him around for that long and keep loaning him out to the likes of Benfica and wherever else he's gone, I think he's gone to Greece as well, hasn't he? Then I think they'd be looking for north of 10 million for him.
Yeah.
I think he would probably be your new transfer record.
Yeah.
I think 10. I think I'd be happy to pay, me personally. You know, I've got it in my back pocket. 10 million. Something like, if I just go to my savings account that I've had since I was a baby and just withdraw all that, I could probably afford Issa Kaboré. So
That's compound interest for you. It's mad.
yeah, brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah. We could all chip in, couldn't we? Yeah, I think it's going to be north of 10, isn't it? As Andy says, they're not going to let him go for peanuts, sadly. Maybe we could just loan him in perpetuity. I'm sure Man City would be happy with that, and he would too. So that's the hope. What we did see, though, which was interesting, was that Tom Wagner inspired that second half comeback by Birmingham City with a.
Liam's written about this. Liam's got views.
Do you, Liam? I know you were particularly inspired by it, weren't you?
I just can't take to the bloke. I've got to be honest. Everyone was going on about Tom Brady on the documentary and how he came across. I can't take to Tom Wagner. It's just I don't know. There was the moment last season. Was it when they lost the trophy final and he was up in the stands, him and Brady giving the players a pep talk, and I don't know. It just feels a bit stilted, feels a bit false, and I don't really like to play the compare owners game, but I just couldn't imagine ours doing that. You know, it's like, in fairness, one thing I will say is he was right about the Birmingham fans. They were really quiet in the first half, and they got they sang a bit after they scored, but I didn't think they were particularly good. But yeah, I just don't like. It was the way he was holding his hand up and going, "Is that fair? Is that fair?" Kept doing that. I just found it really weird. So yeah, Delia moment for me.
It's heart's in the right place, but it's not. It's no Barry Fry for Birmingham City rousing speeches, is it? That's what you need.
It was what was it? Text all your mates in there and tell them that the players need them. Like,
I mean, I think sometimes there's an element of trying too hard, and he probably was trying a bit too hard because I think the likes of Rob and Ryan can get away with it because it's just part of their nature and part of their character to be able to cajole people. You know, that's what they do in their sort of workplaces as well, is to cajole and rally people around. So I think he's just probably trying a little bit too hard. It'll probably come at some point. You'll figure
and
it out.
just to balance though, actually, I heard he did buy a round in the
Did
in the turf once again. So as much as I thought it was a bit lame, you know, you can't really knock the guy for that, even though he can definitely afford it. I think he's worth over $1 billion, much like me again.
Can someone work out how much he spent in the turf proportionate to his income? Is it like me spending 50p?
It's probably like you saying, yeah, go and get a packet of crisps for yourself.
Yeah. Still, nice bloke, well done. For anyone wondering about the Delia Smith comment, and you aren't aware of it, please do YouTube Delia Smith speech.
Let's be having you.
Let's
Nice
be
bloke,
having
Where
well
are
done.
you?
I like
Come
the way
on!
you summed up Tom Wagner perfectly. Nice bloke, well done. Top stuff, Tom. Go you. All that money, you're a nice bloke.
Right, going on the agenda. We've touched on this already, but we really are struggling to get the 3 points at home. At what stage does that become a problem, Tim? And coming to you especially as the sergeant of the atmosphere, is it that win that will really crank that atmosphere back up again?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the next home game has to be the one that is the obvious target because it's against Oxford, a supposed weaker team in this division. But again, it's difficult to say that because we're new to this division. Anybody can kind of beat anybody any day, how it feels anyway. So
The Dennis Smith
got
derby.
we've got to tread carefully with it. But I think that one is an opportune time to get it and kind of get this monkey off our backs and see it through because that is going into a big week. Then it's a really really big week. Stoke, Oxford at home, Middlesbrough away. Then you're going into the sort of Cardiff and Coventry games within 4 days of each other. So I think is a good one because the Cardiff and Coventry. Let's forget the Cardiff game for a minute. The Coventry game, they're flying at the moment. They're scoring goals for fun. they're really motoring the Lampard, and they do look impressive. So Oxford's the one, and I don't think it'll have any massively long-term bearing on the atmosphere. That's just naturally coming anyway. I think it's just taking a little bit of time to feel it out, because as we said a few weeks ago, I think that's just largely down to trying to figure out who these players are and where they're playing and how they're playing, and getting to become accustomed with, brand new squad. So I think we're there or thereabouts now. So I think it will definitely become more of a consistent thing, I hope and pray. But Oxford is the one key game that if we don't get nothing from that, then I think there'll be a few. I think the knives will be getting sharpened again, regardless, which is very frustrating and very annoying. But I think it's a good opportunity.
Andy, what do we need to do to win at home? What's going wrong?
I think a lot of it is tied to the atmosphere, but I think we know what we are now as a club and in the league. What I mean by that is I think we all know we're too good to go down, and we all know the league is bloody tough. But if you can string a couple of results together, you're right up at the top. So I think we know what we need to do to help the team to get over there. We think we're pretty good away from home. We've got a nice little balance there where we sit back, we let them come on to us, and then we can open them up on the counter. But doing it that way is hard to do it at home, because if that's the sort of way you play, then you almost have to do a complete reverse ferret at home to really try and take the game to another opposition, and that's tough. Even on Friday, we didn't have much of the ball really, but when we did get it, we were pretty quick and pretty direct, and probably had a better. I hate using the words XG, sorry, but I think we were creating clearer chances with the possession we did have. So it's about finding that balance. Now, Sheffield Wednesday, we were minutes away from getting that first win, and they're the margins. We're not that far away, and I think once we do get one, I don't think we're going to steamroller any team 4 or 5-0 this season. But I think we're going to be in every single game, and we just, as fans, need to know that if it does go back to one each or something like that, then we just need to raise the level again a little bit, and it links in what Tim was saying. Raise the level a little bit to try and get us back over the line, and maybe we didn't have that on Friday. And I do think maybe the options from the bench in an attacking capacity weren't the ones that were really going to get you on the edge of your seat. I mean, what happened with Smith? He looked like he was coming on, and then he didn't, did he?
There was the injury. There was an injury to Hyam.
Okay.
So Parky changed it to cover for him. I think Dan Scarr came on, didn't he, in the end instead? So yeah.
Well, let's hope that win will come soon. But as Tim mentioned, we've got a bit of a break first because Wales are playing, and as are other nations, of course. But half of our squad will be playing for Wales at the moment, which is nice to have so much representation. Tim, I'm sure you're looking forward to it. Are you going to any of the games?
Yeah, going to both. Going for 6,500 Wales fans going to Wembley on Thursday. It should be class, regardless. This is what Craig Bellamy wants. He wants a big test. People are questioning the wisdom of having such a big test before such a crucial game against Belgium and Cardiff on the Monday, but we'll see. Look, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see. I'm always excited to see Wrexham players representing Wales again, especially on such a stage as that. So, be interesting to see if Kiefer Moore can give him some headaches. Same with Broadhead. And yeah, should be good. Bizarrely, it's costing me less money to go to Wembley and stay over than what it is to get to Cardiff on the train and back. Damn you, TFW. Rubbish. There we are. Hey ho.
But for balance purposes, my last journey up to Wrexham on the train was very pleasant. But we're very balanced on this podcast. And of course,
the train back to Wrexham is always pleasant.
Well, that's true. That's true. The train back was good too, but it was largely full of South Wales Reds, which was nice. Right. Any other business? Tim, you mentioned the Terry Fox run.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
I'm so fried to tell you all about it, but it was held last year in Wrexham for the first time. It's held in various places. I want to say a lot, but I don't know a vast in and out. I know it's named after a legendary Canadian, if I'm right in thinking that, who completed like a load of marathons. I'm sure he had like a prosthetic leg. I think it's something like that. forgive my ignorance, it's not the case. I did read into it, and I've done a lot of miles today, so I'm knackered. But it was really well attended. It was really good fun. Loads of familiar faces doing it, and all in aid of a good cause, and a lot of stuff centered about cancer and everything to do with that. Really, people who've lost loved ones to it, people who've survived. It's just a really feel good event, and it was held in Bellevue, and it was good. It was warm, surprisingly warm for October. But yeah, it was nice to be a part of, and I think it's going to be a continued staple of the running calendar around here now. So onwards and upwards.
Lovely stuff. Well done to anyone else who took part in it. Another great week for the Wrexham Women, who beat Swansea City Women at the Swansea.com Stadium 3-1. And I think it was Swansea's first defeat there. And it's put Wrexham at the joint top of the league, second on goal difference with Cardiff, which is great. And starting to really build some form. That's 4 wins out of 5, the same as Cardiff.
Got Cardiff next weekend, I think.
And Cardiff next weekend. Is that home?
Yeah.
Class. So
I don't know if it's at the racecourse, though. Is it the racecourse, or I know they've been moving it about a bit, haven't they? Be great if it was at the racecourse, especially if they could go top of the league on their own.
That's a big game, so do make sure you can get to support that if you can. It was goals from Ava Suckley and Katie Barker in the first 15 minutes, which was great, and then a second half strike from Lily Jones to confirm all the points. So blooming fantastic. Let's hope that run continues. We have some financial news as well to discuss as well. Liam, there was a 7.1 million share issued
for a single share once again. There's no, obviously it's hard to tell because there's nothing on Companies House which tells you what the purpose is. But if I had to hazard a guess, I'm saying COP development, because it comes around the same time that we appear to have unlocked the government funding for the COP. And from everyone I've spoken to, it does sound like full steam ahead next month is what's expected. Basically, it is happening. Although I don't get the impression that it won't be fully complete for next summer, will it? Just by virtue of how long these things take.
Does it need to be? Does it? Even if they can get some people in there, like a soft launch part?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing I've seen that suggests there would be any sort of penalty or anything for the club if they, didn't get it ready in that time. So, and like you say, it can open in phases. So yeah, it's not. I mean, I think that the fact for most Wrexham fans is just seeing it getting started, believing that it will finally be completed is the main thing. And by all accounts, that sounds like what's happening. So that can only be a good thing.
Liam, can you help explain very briefly what exactly it is when that share is issued? Are you able to explain that to us like we're small children?
I mean, I think the thing with us is so we tend to get big cash injections for single shares. So what's happening is you're not giving a big proportion of the company for it. It sounds like it's basically owners or potentially the Allen family putting in money for a specific probably for a specific purpose, so that it doesn't dilute the shares within the club. Like I say, for other occasions, it might have been, different projects like, transfers or training ground, the academy training ground, sorry. This one I would fully expect because I think the amount that we're getting from council/government is something like 17 million, clearly for the full fat 7,500 or whatever it is version of the COP. That is going to come to more than that. So you will see private money, aka the owners, pumped in as well over time.
Do you reckon these are loans?
Well, the last time all the loans were wiped off. So I wonder if there was a specific purpose for that, in that if they wanted to draw down money, did the club have to be clear of loans? I mean, that's just speculation, but all loans were wiped off previously. Whether those will return, I mean, there's no reason why they wouldn't loan money to the club again, but you'll have to wait. I mean, when we get the next lot of financial results, that'll be for when we're in League One. So it's always a bit in the past when you actually see the full picture of what it's there for.
Good stuff. Any other business? There's a charity dinner on Friday night. What's all this about? Can anyone elaborate?
Wrexham AFC Foundation is having a charity dinner down in London. It's at Stationers Hall, which is in St Paul's, and looks a very grand event. I shall be going, and I shall be doing a Q&A with the two Bens, Ben Tozer and Ben Foster, and I will try and tap the latter up to try and come on this pod.
Fraternizing with the new enemies.
Never heard of him.
Well, let's just say if something were to befall their dinners, knocking them out for a couple of weeks. But no, it should be good. It's nice that Wrexham can do stuff like that now. It's very well attended. I think there's a couple of tickets left for it. So even though it's quite high end, we've managed to fill out a place down in London, and that's a lot to do with Barry Jones, friend of the pod, and his hard work on that, press ganging me into coming. But I am really looking forward to it.
Big Baz.
Just to continue with the charity theme, I just had a message through from Dale Irving, who did a charity song a couple of months back. We give him a shout out in the pod. It's called Thank You, and they've just wrapped up the fundraising for it, and they have raised £2,200. So that'll be split between 4 selected charities: Nightingale House, Wrexham Food Bank, Andy's Man Club, and Macmillan Cancer Support. So well done, Dale, and thank you to everybody who gave generously.
Is that the track that we played on this podcast at the end?
I can't remember now.
There was no quality control for it. I'm not sure how good it was.
There you
Wow.
go. Go and seek out Dale Irving.
Well, at least charity benefited.
Yeah, quite.
We're all charitable today.
Right, to finish off this podcast, Andy thought we would do a new feature, which is
not
called
a new feature, it's just a one-off.
which is called 2 Things That Will Happen to Us This Season. And how it works is that each of us has to name 2 things that will happen to us this season.
Definitely happen. They will definitely happen.
That will definitely happen.
They might not. But, yeah.
I like
That we
Dogs of
think.
War. I like a Dogs of War 11 better, to be honest. But go on, carry on.
So essentially, it's too early to do predictions because that's daft. It's only the 5th of October. But what we're going to do is we're going to say 2 things that will definitely happen this season. Tim, go.
Wrexham will win at home.
Nice.
And Wrexham will spend in excess of 15 million in the January transfer window.
Woof.
Bloody hell.
There you go.
If I had a cap, it would fly off my head at that.
And Andy, what's going to happen this season?
Lewis O'Brien will definitely score a 1-on-1. He definitely will. I will watch him do it. On that, I still think Ryan Hardy's got a good sort of part to play in this season, and I think he's going to come in, score a goal, and go on a run. He's done that all through his career. He's got the quality. I think he's going to get into the team. He's going to score 1 as a substitute. He'll play the next game. He'll score about 4 or 5 in quick succession. So that's what's going to happen.
Fair enough. Liam?
We will definitely see spades, and I mean spades because I understand that's how they build big developments like the COP is. It's just a load of blokes with spades. They do a bit of digging, and then someone just comes with a crane and puts the fully constructed COP where they've dug. So yeah, we'll definitely see. Yeah, well, yeah, that's just how it works. That's just my understanding. But also, I want to go positive, so I'm going to say Big Arthur is going to stop all the doubts and the questions raised over him. He's going to claim the #1 spot, and by the end of the season, he'll have kept a decent number of clean sheets. I can't make specifics, but yeah, big up Big Arthur.
Okay, I'm going to go with... Ooh, tough this now because I've not been left with much. Kakache is going to play a major part in our season, and he will be...
I was close to that one. I was close to that. I think it's decent.
Pushing for player of the season. Second one is Phil Parkinson will get banned from the touchline for at least 1 game.
Who's he going to kick off on? Who's going to invoke his ire?
Barry Murphy with a bit of luck. Phil.
Yes, great shout. There we go. Either that or in the Christmas derby against the Swans. It's going to be in a derby.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good. A Christmas punch-up. We all like that, don't we?
Yes.
At the end of EastEnders. Have we still got tickets left for our live event, which is a week on Thursday?
There's a few left.
Yeah.
Have we got any guests for our live event?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on a few others, but we got Louis Malt and Mickey Thomas confirmed, haven't we? To talk
Yes.
about.
Lads.
Yeah. So don't
Well,
worry.
Mickey was at the Terry Fox run today, and he said, "I'm definitely all right for it." He said, "What date was it again?" I had to tell him about 3 times. Like, fucking, you sure you're all right for this?
No, I spoke to him on Thursday, and he put it in his diary. It's good to have Mickey there because obviously he's played for Stoke, so he'll know a bit about that. But obviously, we want to mention Joey again because Mickey is his best mate, and if Mickey just wants to open up a little bit on Joey's life, I think that would be well received.
He's still got 1,000 stories none of us will ever know about.
Yeah.
So that's why we keep getting him back as and when we can. So yeah.
But yeah, please sell that out on the 16th, a couple of days before Stoke.
It'll be
On
fun.
the
We winged
my
it last time. We'll wing it again, and there's still some guests to be
Don't
announced. So
tell
please
people
jump
we
on.
wing it. Just say that we.
Well, we are.
Go on the MySquid. Go on the
Go on the
MySquid
MySquid
website.
website or sign up to Wrexham on the game with Andy Gilpin and Tim Edwards. The QR code is earlier.
It's me hanging around on King Street.
And you'll find all the content you need there.
Big June,
Thank you, everyone.
Big gilps.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll have a podcast midweek, even though there's no game next weekend because we are slaves to the content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Content is king, and we are content creators.
Content creators.
Influencers.
We are this Wrexham podcast.
Award-winning content creators.
Have a wonderful week, everyone. Enjoy your time without club football. Bye-bye.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.